The contract slides across the table. It looks standard. The paper is crisp, the font is professional, and the offer is bold. $30 an hour. To most people, that sounds like a victory. That is the number you told your parents you wanted. That is the number that qualifies you for the apartment. You shake hands, you sign the paper, and you think you've secured your future. You think you've won. But Reggie takes a moment. He doesn't sign. He stares at the number, but he doesn't smile. He pulls out a vintage calculator. The hum of the office air conditioner is the only sound in the room as he starts punching keys aggressively. He is running a calculation that human resources never told him about. He's running a calculation that isn't in the employee handbook. He hits equals and looks up at the hiring manager with total confusion. He doesn't see $30, he sees $4. Reggie isn't bad at math. He is just doing the calculation that you are too blind to do. Look at your contract. Look at that hourly rate. You think that number represents your profit. You've been trained to believe that you are selling your time and that money is what you get to keep. But that is a lie. That is an accounting error that keeps you poor. In business terms, your salary is just revenue. It is not profit. If a bakery sells $1,000 worth of bread but spends $900 on flour, yeast, rent, and electricity to do it, that business is failing. It has high revenue and no margin. If the oven breaks, they are bankrupt. You are that business. You are generating cash flow, but you are ignoring the massive overhead costs required to keep the factory open. You are focused on the top line, the salary, while the bottom line is bleeding out. Reggie writes $30 on the whiteboard. That's the fantasy. That's the gross salary illusion. Now, let's grab the red marker and see how much of this you actually get to keep. Let's open the ledger and perform a forensic audit on your life. We are going to strip away the illusion of income and look at the reality of expense. You don't teleport to your desk, you pay to get there. It isn't just the gas. Everyone calculates the gas. It's the invisible depreciation. Every mile you drive pushes your car closer to the junkyard. You are literally burning the value of your vehicle to earn the privilege of sitting in a chair. Then there's risk pricing. The more you drive during rush hour, the higher your statistical chance of an accident. You are absorbing liability. And if you take the train or a cab, it's no different. That monthly pass is a subscription fee to your own employment. That Uber you take when it rains or because you worked late is a penalty tax. Whether it's brake pads, bus fares, or surge pricing, you are paying a toll to enter the factory. If you spend $200 a month just to physically arrive at the place where you generate money, that is a business expense. You are subsidizing your employer's lack of remote work. Subtract the gas, the wear, the passes, and the fares, and your $30 just dropped to $26. Now look at the clothes in your closet. The slacks, the button-downs, the stiff shoes that hurt your feet, the dry cleaning bills, the specific haircut you maintain because you need to look promotable. This is driven by a psychological force called mimetic desire. You look around the office, see what the successful people wear, and you mimic it to signal that you belong. But would you buy any of this if you didn't have this job? No. These are costumes. They are an entrance fee. You are paying rent on your own image just to walk through the security gates. Strike through the 26. You're down to 24. This is where the budget really bleeds out, the coping costs. How many times have you bought the $15 salad or the $12 sandwich not because it tastes good, but because you had 15 minutes to eat and no energy to pack a lunch? How many times have you ordered takeout on a Tuesday or hit the bar on a Friday just to blow off steam? Sociologists call this compensatory consumption. By 6 p.m., you suffer from decision fatigue. Your brain has made so many micro decisions for your boss that it has no glucose left to make frugal decisions for yourself. You cannot cook. You physically require the path of least resistance, and that path costs $15.99 plus delivery fees. You aren't buying the expensive lunch because you're hungry. You're buying it because you're exhausted. The job created the stress, so the job must pay for the relief. You are buying back the dopamine the office drained from you. That pulls another massive chunk out of the revenue. We're down to $18. Then there's the silent partner, Uncle Sam.
He takes his cut off the top before the money even hits your account. Federal, state, Social Security. He doesn't care about your commute. He doesn't care that you spent $40 on happy hour just to stop your eye from twitching. He calculates his cut based on the fantasy number at the top of the page. Subtract the taxes, we are left with $12. $12 is your net cash. That is what actually sits in the bank after the machine eats its share. But we're not done. Most people calculate their wage by dividing their paycheck by 40 hours. That is the most dangerous math error you will ever make, because you don't just give your employer 40 hours, you give them your life. There is a concept called shadow work. It's the unpaid labor required to maintain an asset. In this case, the asset is you. The corporation rents you for 40 hours, but you maintain yourself for the other 100. Think about the commute alone. 5 hours in a metal box staring at brake lights. You cannot use this time for yourself. You cannot sleep, exercise, or build something of your own. You are on the clock. You just aren't being paid for it. Then there's preparation and decompression. Ironing shirts, packing bags, shaving, and the time sitting in your car when you get home, staring at the steering wheel, trying to summon the energy to walk inside and be a human again. That time belongs to the job. And then there's the dread, the Sunday scaries, the email you replay in the shower, the anxiety that wakes you up at 3 in the morning. Even when you leave the building, your mind is still processing the data. You are renting out your brain space for free. Add it all up, and you aren't working 40 hours. You are dedicating 55 hours of your finite existence to this operation, nearly 37% of your waking life sold at a discount. So let's do the real math. Take the real money you keep, $12, and divide it by the real time you spend, 55 hours. When you hit equals, the result is $4.12. This is your real wage. This is the actual wealth you are building for every hour of life you trade away. When Reggie scrubs a toilet in his own house, his only cost is a sponge. His margin is nearly 100%. But when you go to your good job, your overheads are so high that your margin is barely 12%. You are running a business with massive revenue and massive expenses, leaving you with scraps. The money flows in and immediately flows out to the gas station, the landlord, the dry cleaner, and the takeout. This is why raises don't save you. When you get paid more, your expenses expand to meet the income. Slightly better car, slightly nicer clothes, slightly more expensive food. The revenue goes up, but the margin stays the same. You run faster, but the math doesn't change. So stop looking at the salary. Stop looking at the gross. Start calculating the profit margin. Take your take-home pay, subtract the costs required to keep the job, then divide by the total time you spend thinking about, driving to, and recovering from work. That number is your real wage. If that number scares you, good. That fear is the beginning of clarity. Stop maximizing revenue. Start maximizing margin. Freedom isn't found in a higher salary. It's found in a higher margin. Class dismissed.